Hey, Sean here at Go Big Bore or Go Home. Welcome back to First Friday Fives. Sorry for the absence, but I've had a few speed bumps in the road, figuratively speaking, that is, and it slowed me down a little bit. But I'm back in action, and this month I wanted to do a list that talks about something that every big bore enthusiast has to deal with sooner or later, and usually in very large quantities, and that's recoil. This month we're talking about the top 5 big bores known for their recoil. We're not talking about the 5 biggest recoiling big bores here, let me be very clear. That would just be another list of 50 calibers. No. These 5 cartridges made this list because their names are synonymous with the recoil that they produce. In short, when you think of these calibers, recoil is the first word that comes to mind. Kind of like the word dirty comes to mind when I think of the 45 ACP, because I kind of hate cleaning after shooting that round. But without further ado, let's get to the list and have some fun. Number 5. The 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. Now this may come as a surprise being number 5, but there's a good reason for it. When this cartridge comes to mind, there are many other words that come to mind before recoil, such as X-frame, big, heavy, powerful, all very true. And if you've ever shot one, they do kick like an angry Clydesdale. But the reason they aren't as bad as they could be is that all of the firearms that are chambered in them are so heavy they might as well be made from depleted uranium. Not to mention that Smith & Wesson also fits all of their models with a thoughtful muzzle brake. I do agree with author Max Prazak when he says this caliber would be unshootable without it. It bruised my palm in 2 places, and that was after only shooting 20 rounds. Now, granted, they were 400 grain bullets, and they were traveling at 1,608 feet per second. If that's not power and speed, nothing is. But while all that recoil is memorable and a well-known feature of this round, the 4 above it are much more well-known for the palm abuse they create. Number 4. The 475 Linebaugh. Now we've covered the 500 Linebaugh on other lists, but surprisingly, this is the Linebaugh cartridge that most often gets associated with wrist wrenching. Designed in 1988, when John Linebaugh heard that the .348 Winchester brass he was using for his 500 Linebaugh round was to be discontinued, John cut down 4570 brass and opened it up to take a .475 caliber bullet. The length of the casing was the same 1.4 inch of the 500, but with a smaller bullet, less case capacity, and a desire to get similar Taylor KO factor out of this round. The velocities and pressures are typically higher. I haven't personally shot one myself, but I did overpressurize some 480 rounds I loaded, and they were life-alteringly intense. After 10 rounds, I pulled the bullets of the other 40 and loaded them down. When I've asked many big bore handgunners what they consider to be the worst recoil, many mention this cartridge. Or when asked what they think about it, the first thing they talk about is the intense recoil. But since this is a somewhat rare and obscure round to most, at number 4 it stays. Number 3. The 10mm Auto. Okay, this should surprise no one. This is the semi-auto cartridge that the whole damn FBI rejected because of the recoil. Well, that and some over-penetration issues, and the fact that the guns of the time were unable to take too many rounds before melting barrels. Did I mention I love the 10mm? Because it's freaking badass. Seriously, this is one wild semi-auto cartridge. Everyone I know mentions the recoil or the snappy, intense muzzle flip from these high-pressure rounds whenever the 10mm comes up. I know people who find it too much for them, and I won't argue. It's a beast. What I find funny is that recently when I spoke to someone at 460 Roland about what that round recoils like, they used the 10mm as a measuring stick. I was told if I could handle a hot 10mm round, I could handle the 460 Roland. Give me a second here. See, about 460 Roland 1911 conversion. Okay, sorry. The pressure is what really makes the 10mm recoil laden and a leviathan. But it still has nothing on recoil reputation when it comes to the number 2 and number 1 spots. Number 2, the 44 Remington Magnum. Alright, you knew it had to be here. This is the cartridge that made recoil the word of the day. When this bad boy debuted in 1956, only its creator Elmer Keith knew it was coming when the trigger was pulled. This led to a number of hammer spur marks between the eyes of shooters. And no, that's not an exaggeration, and I'm not kidding. That's for real. This cartridge really is what made big bore Magnum cartridges a thing, and like the pale horse in the Bible that carried death, hell followed with it. Depending on how you load this cartridge, you can have a spicy meatball or palm-bruising, wrist-twisting, muzzle-rising recoil that will give even the most adamant adrenaline junkie a thrill. Hot 240-grain loads can really send the bullet flying down range for silhouette shooting, and Buffalo Bore even makes a 340-grain plus P plus load that flies out of the muzzle at 1,478 feet per second, and that generates a massive 1,649 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. Not to mention the recoil it generates should literally scare almost any shooter into wetting their pants. But there is another cartridge that is even more well known for its recoil. Number 1. Drumroll please. The 454 Casull. This cartridge is so well known for the kind of intense, near-death experience causing recoil that it might as well have been named the 454 Recoil. With a top pressure of 65,000 pounds per square inch, this cartridge has a higher pressure ceiling than any other handgun cartridge out there, and the velocities and power that it creates are a testament to that fact. This cartridge has been used to take every type of large and dangerous game that walks on this planet, and the recoil will absolutely let you know what kind of power this cartridge generates. I know many folks who will not shoot this round or who have shot it once and never ever again. In fact, a serious big bore enthusiast and handgun hunter told me directly that he absolutely hates the 454 Casull. He'd even shoot the 475 Linebaugh all day long by comparison. Speaking from personal experience, there is only one word that describes its recoil accurately in my book: violent. This cartridge hits your hand like a hammer, pushes the muzzle back like God grabbed it and pulled it up, and that nose moves towards yours so fast that you might not see the gun actually move. What the hell happened? It was pointed forward, now it's pointed up. Did something go on in between? No other cartridge has the reputation for recoil like this one, and even the ones that recoil more aren't as notorious for beating up the shooter.
That hurts.
And that's the list, guys. The top 5 big bore cartridges most known for their recoil. Let's count them back real quick before we sign off. In at number 5, the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum, as if the world's most powerful handgun wasn't going to be on the list. In at number 4, the 475 Linebaugh, which actually outsteps its bigger brother. Number 3, the nemesis of the FBI, the 10mm auto. Number 2, are you feeling lucky? The 44 Remington Magnum takes the cake. And in at number 1, the carpal tunnel inducing 454 Casull. Because when you really hate your wrists, this is the cartridge for you. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the list. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Did we hit the main ones that are known for their recoil? Are there others that are more well known for their recoil in your opinion? What do you guys think? Tune in again next month, and I promise we're back on track. We will be posting regularly, and my surprise video is coming very soon. Thanks for your patience, and remember, go big bore or go home.